Hey, my friends, welcome back to the VIP Financial Ed channel. Matthew Pillmore here, your cash flow coach. On this channel, we talk all things, well, credit, capital, and cash flow, guys. I call it the 3 C's of banking and borrowing, and we talk about how we can turn the banks against themselves and how you guys can be ultimately left with a ton more money at the end of each and every month. Now, I would say by and large, our audience consists of between 25 and 55 years old. That represents over 70% of our audience members. Most of you guys are either active or want to be active entrepreneurs and or investors. So you guys are right there as far as your mental headspace. And I think that to really be successful, it's going to boil down to being a part of a great team. My team is the reason I'm successful. I say it all the time. Obviously, I'm a huge advocate for mentorship and coaching. There's a reason that we decided to offer mentorship and coaching as our service to you guys, because I didn't see products and programs fulfilling at quite the same rate. In fact, I think a lot of studies argue that some of those are as low as really low single-digit fulfillment rates, execution rates. So mentorship and coaching is key. It's important to have people, there to grab you by the hand and help pull you through the tough decisions and make sure that you're seeing all the different perspectives and viewpoints that you need to make great choices. And that's one thing that we've talked a lot about here with Mr. Michael Matthew, my guest on today's episode. We've got some terrific collaborations before we dive in that are coming up. Make sure you watch out for our short-term rental collaboration. We're going to show you guys how you can make over $10,000 on even just one property in terms of your income. We've got a great collaboration with Dan Locke that maybe you've seen. A lot of videos with him. I think he's exceptional, and he talks often about what we're going to be discussing here today with Michael. So make sure you subscribe to the channel, very important. And I also want to emphasize that you've got to check out all the videos with Little Pink Houses of America, because each and every video will showcase some of the most frequently asked questions that we get in the comments section, people emailing, and then obviously when they follow up with Michael, he's saying, hey, these are the things I hear from everybody. So if you are looking for a new income stream, a high income stream, income that exceeds $10,000 per month, and in this case with Little Pink Houses, the reason we showcase them so frequently is because we're talking about numbers as small as $15,000 a month and as large as over $30,000 each and every month in new revenue streams. And you can do that as a side hustle. Yes, it will require most realistically 20 or 30 hours every week to get those types of numbers, but it's easily done outside of normal business hours, which means that you can have a day job or you can work another business. And if that business is streamlined and systemized and under control, you have time that you can offer concentration on something else. This is a super realistic way of diversifying your income. By going out and making tens of thousands every month, you're very easily capable of then putting that into income producing assets, into investments, and into a growing net worth and equity position where over decades you are building yourself millions and millions of dollars in net worth, if not faster than decades. That's what happened in my case. It was much faster than that. I try and tell people 10 years or less. So on today's episode, I want to really focus on building a team. It's important. If you don't have a team, you're not a serious business person. If you're trying to do everything on your own, you just haven't learned enough. You don't have enough experience to have the wisdom to realize that it's not realistic to be a very successful business person and not have a team. It would be a total exception to the rule. You would be an anomaly. And in business and in success, we're not trying to be the exception. We're trying to simply follow the most efficient paths. So let's talk a little bit about building a team with Little Pink Houses of America. You would agree that the most successful affiliates of yours, soon to be franchisees, are people who have developed teams around them, I'm guessing?
Yeah, so I've got kind of a two-part answer to that. So first and foremost, you hit the nail on the head. So people that have, whether it's corporate support or some sort of coaching or accountability, they are 10 times more likely to be successful than a solo entrepreneur that's going it alone, trying to blaze that trail. Never understood that. When you can replicate, it can boil down to ego. Certainly, it can boil down to resources. Obviously, we've got a buy-in. You guys have your fees associated with it, and they all pay for themselves. Obviously.
Right, but it's coming up with it initially, right?
That's it.
And so that could be fear-based as well. I think
Absolutely.
I was speaking for myself. I think when I was trying to blaze trails independently, it was ego. I was trying to sort of prove something to somebody.
Yeah.
And there was nobody there waiting at the end, at the finish line, patting me on the back saying, good job, Matt, you did it, except for my mom.
That's what parents are for, right?
Exactly.
Well, I just think that if it is ego, get over that. What's more important to you, going it alone and potentially failing or having a higher failure rate or following a blueprint. What
Right.
we offer, which we don't have a national competitor, period. There's some lower end models out there that would say that they're in the same space that we are, but that's simply not the case. We've got a blueprint for success. If you follow it and you lean on corporate support, which surprisingly, some people still, even in our camp, want to kind of go it alone, just to, whether it's to prove it to themselves or prove it to us, never makes sense to us. But what we really do pride ourselves, and pride's kind of one of those scary words, we do pride ourselves on unparalleled success and helping them build a team. The best part about our model is right out of the gate, they've got a built-in team.
Right.
They've got full support of corporate. We've got people that are talking to them each and every day, helping them, kind of move the ball down the road, helping them do transactions. If they lean on that, great. If they don't, they're probably not going to succeed.
Right.
As far as scalability goes, and we've got folks out there, Tan, who you've mentioned a handful of times. We've got a new lady, and I know she's watching the channel, Dee Dee, phenomenal. This lady was a 20 plus year Microsoft exec. She was the one hiring people to make $250,000 to $500,000. As good as it gets, and they see it right out of the gate. How do I scale this business? It's a very scalable business. I've got corporate support. I need more boots on the ground, though. How do we do that without taking on overhead, which we always and we always tell people, hey, keep your overhead costs, keep your employees, your monthly nut down as low as possible. Once you start doing deals, you can start reinvesting into your company.
Yeah, you cash flow the growth.
That's exactly right. So a few simple tools that we utilize. So first and foremost, we always encourage people to tap into local real estate agents and brokers. Whether you're in the game or not, those people are out there. They ultimately are a friendly. So I'll take Jacksonville, Florida, for example. 20% of pre-qualified deals are falling out through underwriting right now, or during underwriting. So these brokers and agents, what do they do with those leads? They would be a throwaway.
Yeah, exactly.
So when you can plug in and have those channels and they understand and they're educated on how our model works, how they can ultimately make a finder's fee, if you will. Now, brokers, that's a different deal. They can't take a commission, but we've got some mechanisms where they can get a back end if they ultimately write or broker the loan. I probably won't dive into that. There's some technicalities there. But as far as agents go, if you're an agent, would you rather make something or nothing? So when we can show them a commission structure to make $1,000 to $3,500, depending on the profitability of every single deal, and that's a pipeline of deals for them that would ultimately have fallen out, they love it. Tapping into local RIAs, so real estate investment associations. I don't care where you're watching from, your city has one. If you're in a larger city, there's probably a handful of them. Going in there and networking. We've got some presentation material. Folks that are promoting those RIAs are always looking for content.
Oh, 100%. And I've, just to dovetail on this advice, I've recommended for years that the very first thing you need to do if you're interested in being involved in real estate in any capacity, and I happen to know that the percentage of those of you watching right now that are interested in real estate is extremely high on this channel. It's probably 3 out of 4 of you, if not more. You've got to engage the industry, the community that are involved in real estate investing, and that starts with those RIAs. And the easiest way to find those is through meetup.com. Just go to meetup.com. It's free to the user. It costs money for those of us that have a meetup group as moderators to host on that. I have a meetup that is 600 people large at this point for real estate investing in Denver. So guys, this is a great starting point. This is where I got my start in real estate, was by attending those every month. They usually will have at least one monthly meeting. They're usually really inexpensive, if not free. I usually recommend going to the larger groups. I'm not sure if you agree with that, but there are some really small groups that are sort of budding and growing, and normally they're not going to be full of the real successful people in real estate. I usually recommend surrounding yourself with people who are experiencing a lot of success in real estate, because you want to be rubbing shoulders with people who know what they're doing versus being in a room of people who all wish they were successful. So I would go with the larger groups. You can easily see how many members are on there just by browsing through the availability. But the way you search through meetup.com is you just simply go into the main search field and put real estate investing in there as your keywords, and it'll pull up any groups that are nearby you. It'll be based on proximity. And if you're in a larger area that has a whole handful or a number of different groups to choose from, I would recommend attending, go to all of them.
Yep.
See which ones you actually like, and perhaps it makes sense to actually become involved on a regular basis with more than just one group. That's what I did personally. It worked out so well over the long run. And it's not even really my favorite thing to do. I'm not a huge fan of going to these live meetings and doing a lot of face-to-face networking, but it is just one of those things that we sort of have to deal with. If you're not a big fan of it, get over it. It's truly one of the best things you should be doing in real estate investing, whether you're with Pink Houses or whether you're wanting to get in somewhere else. So I just wanted to kind of add to what you were saying.
Yeah, absolutely. So in real estate investing, it's all about really networking. When people, if you're coming on board as Little Pink Houses of whatever your city happens to be, and people realize what you bring to the table, the brand that you have behind you, the corporate infrastructure and systems you have behind you, people are inherently going to want to plug into you. Mm-hmm. We've got, kind of the PowerPoint presentations that you can present. We've got some online marketing templates that you can attract people even outside of those meetings. We've got direct mail campaigns. We've got other direct marketing campaigns to agents and brokers to get them into the fray also. People think real estate's sexy, and not everyone has the kind of entry point to get into it. If you are providing them with that kind of entry point, if you will, and they're getting paid, kind of that pay-to-play basis, they're ecstatic. They can make a few $1,000s in a bird dog capacity, which is what we call that. I can explain more on that on a subsequent call with you. But building up that team, obviously, to scale your business model is paramount. Now, ultimately, at some point, you may want retail space. The best part about our model is you don't necessarily have to have that out of the gate. Most people have a home office, and they've got kind of some peripheral people that are bringing deals into the fray with them. They're only paying them when they're getting a big paycheck themselves. Mm-hmm. So keep overhead low. You don't have to run out there and buy that real estate space, which is also a question I get. Obviously, we've got one at our corporate office where we do our trainings, et cetera, but not necessary.
Yeah, especially right out of the gate, like you said, you can grow into all of this stuff. And I think bringing in a great team also means cutting people in on a results-based compensation model. Mm-hmm. And the team that you find that is willing to do that will ultimately be the best team you can find, because they're that startup type of mentality. Mm-hmm. They're in it for the blood, sweat, and tears. They're in it because they believe in themselves mm-hmm. enough to say, sure, I'll get paid when we as a team get results. And this is a way that I've run my businesses for 20 years, and it's worked out so well. And we really find that team that is committed to excellence when mm-hmm. you do it that way. And I think that's tremendous. And not to mention, by and large, they have some level of salesmanship, mm-hmm. okay? Sales folks are more than willing to take a results-based compensation model.
The good ones, for sure.
Well, that's my point. If they're unwilling to, they're usually not going to be great. Yep. And so people who believe in themselves are always willing to take results-based. And so I've used it as somewhat of a filter through even in times where we could afford a standardized base or a salary. We preferred to go about results-based compensation. So I like that. I like that you're suggesting that while building a team. And I would recommend that for any entrepreneur out there, whether you're ever interested in doing Little Pink Houses or real estate in general. Any entrepreneur should be considering how you can attract the best talent. All of our coaches, for example, are vested owners of VIP. So we vest over a 5-year period of time. Much to my surprise, I can't just put a job posting out for calling all successful entrepreneurs to come and work for Matt Pillmore. Big surprise, right? They don't want a job, right? And that's the key here is you want to find success. And so they want to be owners, and they are all owners. And I think that's worked out really well, not just for us, but for you guys as coaching members as well. When you come on and you're coaching with us, which is separate than what Michael does, it's something that you can feel more confident about because you're going, oh, wow, I'm working with somebody regularly who owns VIP. Of course they care about your success. If it was somebody that's getting paid either way, well, maybe they'd be a little more complacent and maybe they just have a bad day and you don't get the best session out of them. That's not the way it works when you're dealing with results-based performance.
Yeah, and just to kind of segue into something else. So there's a book out there. It's called Good to Great. It's one I
love. That book.
I love. You love. A lot of people out there on the channel probably subscribe to it as well. There's a couple analogies in there when it's talking about growing a business, and it kind of refers to the bus. And it's first and foremost getting the right people on the bus. And then when you have the right people on the bus, it's making sure they're in the right seats. So as you're building your team, and this is something that we can certainly consult with you on, it's making sure that you've got the right people doing the right roles. So some people are going to gravitate to working with sellers and getting seller contracts. Some people are going to gravitate to working with buyers and showing homes. Some people are going to maybe gravitate to the marketing aspect of it. So, don't just jam a square into a round circle, if you will. Be cognizant of what people's skill sets are as you're doing this. If you're on board with us, obviously we're going to consult with you about that, whether it's during the training or on-site visits, and we've got some options there. But regardless of any business that you're in, as you're building that team, I think it's important to know the skill sets of the people you're working with and making sure they're in the right seat on that bus, if you will.
No, I think that's a great point. Yeah, I mean, you can't teach character so much, right? If you can find great character and somebody's talented, you can certainly train them on, and they'll have a knack for something, right? So
Sure.
their natural gifts will permeate towards one specific area of your business. So you don't necessarily hire specifically for that role, maybe find the best role for that person within the business.
Sure.
As time moves forward.
Yeah, that they have enough merits to be on your team, regardless of what that skill set was. And then it's about distribution of labor. Where is your specific skill set best used within the organization? Yeah. And some people don't do that. It's, I hired you on as whatever role that may have been, and you're staying there. Mm-hmm. Well, what if that person excelled across the aisle? So I don't know. Great book. If you haven't read it, I certainly advocate it.
Cool. Well, hopefully you guys have taken away some of these cool resources. Excellent book, meetup.com, go to your RIAs. Those things apply regardless of what you choose to do with Little Pink Houses. If you haven't seen the other videos with Little Pink, make sure you watch those before you reach out. Again, if you're looking for a really great high income side hustle, this is going to be a place to start. Just go through the playlist. We'll link below so you can dig in, and maybe it's a good fit for you. And after you watch those videos, if you're still really interested in potentially picking up one of their markets, they do have a very limited supply. They are not, they don't have unlimited availability. This is very regional, so they're not overlapping and causing issues in terms of marketing for the folks that are already on board, which means if you're in a market that's taken, or if you are in a market now that ends up being taken, you miss out on your opportunity, which means it makes sense to move quickly. There is a level of urgency here that isn't always involved with everything that we bring to you here on this channel. So make sure you email pink@vipfinancialeducation.com with your first and last name along with contact phone number if you do want Michael and his team to reach out. Again, only after you've seen all the videos, please, because most of your questions will probably get answered. Those are the most frequently asked questions that we address in this series. Beyond that, make sure you're a subscriber to the channel. If you haven't yet reserved your one free coaching session with us here at VIP in order to be a great mentor for you to maximize your cash flow and help you make the right decisions moving forward in your life, claim that free coaching session through freecoachingcalendar.com as well. I'll also throw that in the description for you too to make it easy to find. On that landing page, you'll also be presented with the option to just go ahead and skip the long wait for the free coaching sessions and claim a quick start vacancy. You can pay and get started. If you know you've been missing a mentor or coach in your life and you want people standing beside you to help you make really good decisions like, hey, here's a really great income stream that you personally might be good at because we've gotten to know you over months of time. Or, hey, here's a really great opportunity that in order to afford it, here are some of the steps that we need to take in order to help get you the right types of capital that you can use to fund these really great opportunities. Or, hey, you want to buy a short-term rental property like this that's going to bring in 10, 15, even as much as $50,000 in a month. I know it sounds unbelievable. I personally wouldn't have believed it if we didn't do hundreds of hours worth of research and analysis on the property. And I'm going to show you over the next few years exactly how that happens. So again, this is why you have mentorship and coaching. Get in there, claim a quick start. If nothing else, get yourself on the long-term wait list for the free coaching session. Opportunities come and opportunities go, and you don't want to look back and say, man, I really missed out. So we'll look forward to seeing you on the next video until we speak with you directly over the phone. I do as many of those free coaching sessions as possible, so I'm looking forward to actually speaking with you myself directly. Those are so fun to have, and you may have to wait for it, but if you don't want to wait, become a quick starter. Let's fast track your finances, guys. We'll look forward to seeing you on the next video. Until then, make it a great day and take care.